You got logistics, and then you have reverse logistics, which you know as returns. Now, returns have always been a part of retail, but there were really four entrepreneurs who really advanced returns and changed it forever when it comes to the retail space. The first is a guy named James Cash Penney. He was the first one to make a no questions asked policy around returns, and he built J.C. Penney, which is one of the biggest retailers of all time. Now, the next one was a guy named Tony Hsieh. He founded a company called Zappos. And Zappos took the no questions and then they exploded it and made it so that he encouraged his customers to take multiple packages. For example, if you were going to buy some Hoka shoes, he would say, buy 4 different sizes, try them on, and then send them back. And when you read his book, Delivering Happiness, you really realize that Tony Hsieh was a magician. Not only did he encourage shoppers to take multiple sizes, but he also let them return it up to a year, which is absolutely crazy. But Tony Hsieh knew something that the rest of the entrepreneur community didn't. Crazy is hard to copy, and it is one of the reasons how a business can differentiate itself, because customers cannot copy a crazy return policy that was such a value add for customers. But there was one entrepreneur who did notice, and that was Jeff Bezos. Now, you know, Jeff Bezos is different. He is a buy or bury you kind of guy. He is so cold that you know that the first name for Amazon.com was actually Relentless. If you type in relentless.com right now, it's going to redirect you to the Amazon site. He does not play any games. So he ended up buying Zappos for $940 million in 2009. And then he took that same ethos of free returns and made it the lingua franca across all e-commerce, which is what we have now. So he took free returns not only for sneakerheads, but made it for all the categories. And that's why customers still to this day are hesitant to pay for a return. Now, even though returns are free, they are not cheap because they still cost customers a lot of time and effort, and they still cost retailers a lot of money in restocking, inspection fees. Reverse logistics is a beast. Billions of dollars are spent and wasted, quite frankly, trying to get packages back to the retailers. Enter the fourth entrepreneur, which is a guy named David Solby. He founded a company called Happy Returns. Happy Returns founders were working with Nordstrom Rack, and they basically came up with 3 insights. Number 1, customers prefer in-person returns versus the mail, all right? They don't want an arts and craft project. They don't want to find the tape, the box, to print out the label. They don't want to do any of that. They want to just drop off the return in the physical space. Insight number 1. Insight number 2 is that Nordstrom's, the retailer, the brick and mortar retailer, doesn't mind the foot traffic coming in because that gives the sales associate an opportunity to upsell or cross-sell or make an exchange sale for that return, right? Because there's a lot of underutilization, so it keeps the foot traffic coming to the space, which is good. And number 3, the customers valued an instant refund, right? So once they dropped it off, they didn't have to wait weeks to get a refund. They dropped off the package and they got their refund automatically. So Happy Returns built a system in order to scale that up. So they did a B2B to C strategy. So the B2B play was to create a portal that is hosted on the seller's website that handles the return process. So if you go to a company, for example, like Everlane, and you click, initiate a return, that whole framework is the Happy Returns framework. The API into the order with the order ID can refund the customer, can send the email receipt, right? So that's the B2B play. So the 2C play is that they actually also fulfill the service and interface with your customers, which is a game changer. So they would have these things called return bars. So Happy Returns would negotiate with a company, for example, like FedEx, and the customer can initiate the return. They can drop it off at FedEx. Once the FedEx associate scans in that return, boom, the customer gets an email with a coupon at FedEx where they're physically standing. They get the refund, process the return, and maybe go to FedEx and buy a box or something. This chef kiss, beautiful business model. They have over 10,000 return bars. it was working so well, that in-person drop-off, that about 18 months later, after their founding, Amazon copied that when they brokered the deal with Kohl's, so you can return your stuff on Kohl's. So Amazon built, Jeff Bezos, Relentless.com, those guys, they copied the Happy Returns model in order to do the in-person return. Right, so beautiful business model. Happy Returns was acquired by PayPal, and then PayPal divested it right into UPS, and UPS owns Happy Returns now. So that's why if you go to Happy Returns, most of those drop-off bars are the UPS store retail locations. So how does Schlep improve upon that? Well, one of the things that the Happy Returns guys, their insight was that customers prefer an in-person return versus the mail. I would add one more to that. I think that customers prefer a pickup to the mail and to the in-person drop-off. So what we're crafting here at Schleps in order to advance returns forward is we're giving our customers the ability to schedule a return, just upload the label, and we'll pick it up. So it's like a door-to-door. We're dropping off the packages anyway. We're picking up the return, and we're doing that first mile in reverse logistics to get it back. So it's hassle-free. It's super convenient for our customers. So that's how we're trying to become the fifth entrepreneur that advances and changes the package return game. See how it works out.